Thanks for tuning into this earnings conversation with Thermax. The numbers, revenues were down 52% at 664. They were below what the estimates were on the Bloomberg terminal, but I think the company managed to contain their EBITDA losses meaningfully. The expectations were of a 44 crore loss. They've come in at 11 crores, and thereby I think the net loss number as well was contained. However, the order book numbers leave a bit to be desired. The question is, are there silver linings, or is this the near-term pain likely to continue? Mr. M.S. Unnikrishnan Johnson, right now, candid as ever, and maybe for the last time speaking on the behalf of Thermax. Mr. Unnikrishnan, good having you. Thanks so much for joining in. Not the best of quarters, you will have to admit as well, though. I think in line with all the other large corporates, you've done your bit to contain the operational losses via internal measures, I presume.
Certainly, Neeraj, it is expected. Even
Yes.
this could be made possible because we had our chemical factories running for at least a predominant part of May and June. But engineering factories of ours were totally on lockdown for entire month of April and virtually May. And only June we had a run available. In that, again, it is not only a demand side problem, it is also a supply side problem. So supply chain was not fully effective. And please remember, for companies of our size, our supply chain, at least maybe 70% of them are medium scale and MSMEs. And MSMEs were totally down with lack of money, and also people and labor moving out is something which has hit them. So notching up the number itself was not an easy task on the top line. But I need to say that what we all need to be looking, forgetting about a Q1, should look forward to what's going to happen in Q2. For will we be able to rise up at least to a decent enough level as we progress. So there I'm very positive about it, because I've seen even beyond June, the July month had been better, and August is improving. I mean, though we are almost at 30 days down on the month. Now coming to capital goods companies like us, we already have a carry forward orders of 5,200 crore at this point of time, barely 1% lower than the previous year at the same time. And please remember, in the last difficult time that all of us faced in 2008, there were major order cancellations. However, the current situation is such that I'm so happy to report that our order cancellations at this point of times are hardly anything to discuss about. So the orders are quite solid. And I'm happy also to let you know that most of the sites have reopened now, barring maybe 2 or 3. All others have already started. And we have our entire activities started. And almost the sites are running at anywhere between maybe a 45 to 60%, depending upon which location are we talking about. And similarly, the factories are running, all the factories of Thermax are running now, including the one which is in the containment zone in the city of Pune, it's running. But offices we have selectively kept open, and rest of them are working from home.
Sure.
So going forward is more important, not the Q1. Because Q1 was a forgotten thing for India, entire of India, not for...
I agree.
Pharma.
Yeah, maybe barring pharma and maybe technology and telecom, maybe. But Mr. Unnikrishnan, order bookings have been lower. Now, again, do you reckon that that's because the India was on a shutdown mode and that's why? And will the order bookings pick up? The order book may be one thing, but the fresh order bookings, are they showing signs of a big pickup?
See, April trickle, May almost double of what we done in April, and the next month almost double. So it really has started picking up in the month of June. July had been good. August looks to be better, but I need to be classifying in Neeraj also over here that these are all for the standard products and services of the company rather than the big projects. Big projects, please remember, it needs a lot more discussions to conclude it. In the larger projects, there are a lot of technical specifications that we need to be discussing with the customer. In the work from home culture that is continuing, that is getting readjusted. We are ahead of the market that way. But the purchaser also should be capable of taking decisions. At this point of time, who will take a call for 100, 150 crore kind of a project to be ordered out for maybe a captive power plant? Who will order right now? They'll wait for their cash flows to be improved also. Though many of the owners and CEOs are telling people like me that, look, I mean, I know that if I place an order for 150 crore order for a waste heat recovery based captive power plant, I know it will take at least 18 months for you to complete the project. And 18 months down the line, all of us would have forgotten about COVID. So I need to conclude it, but how do we do that? So that is the only issue. In my opinion, in this quarter, things should improve than what was the first quarter percentage. First quarter, we were almost half of what we done in the year prior to that. Current quarter, we should be much better, 60-70% we should be looking at. And Q3 further. And by Q4, Neeraj, we should have in the entire market vaccines available across the globe. At least maybe I would presume 10 companies would be there in the market with vaccines. And by the time there will be a medical protocol also available, fairly proven as a treatment protocol for it. Then the COVID fear will go away from the business area. So it may remain in the general public for another, say, maybe 1 year. So once this starts on, I think forward-looking demand will pick up, and we should see the order booking coming back to pre-COVID days. And there again, remember, pre-COVID, not that India was doing too well. Our growth had come down all the way to 4.7% in the Q4 of last year, Q3, Q4 before the COVID catching on. So at least that level will come back to is my expectation. And then of course the economic difficulties which are inflicted by this all the investment happening for some time would take maybe some more time to pick up. So all of us are very clear in our mind. We are passing through a very challenging time. But today we are much more confident than what I would have sat here and spoken to you maybe 3 months back. That's only confirmation I can give. All of us are across the globe, wherever we are operating. It's not the case for India alone. In Europe, in Southeast Asia, barring Middle East, where I think it will take a little longer period of time for the full recovery to happen. Though life is recovered there much faster than India, but business recovery will take a little longer period of time over there.
Okay, so business is taking time. There's a lot of talk about India becoming a manufacturing hub of sorts in the next 4 or 5, and companies will need to order machinery, and therefore companies like yours will be in a really good shape over an 18-month period. I mean, irrespective of COVID-related issues, just that the order flows will substantially increase. Do you buy that argument, Mr. Unnikrishnan? Can there be a V-shaped or a bit of a flip moment for manufacturing in India and thereby for order books like yours?
100%. The
A flip
reason is that
moment. You reckon there could be a flip moment?
It will be a little more than linear growth. It will be a step growth, will be practical on account of the fact that not that I am hopeful that every capacity in China that is going out is going to come to India, but a good part of that will come to India because you need to have trained manpower, and India has got a lot of English trained executive level people, very well trained available. Similarly, we have fairly well developed ITIs and technology institutes for workmen available, and joblessness is sufficient over here. And only thing is that ease of doing business, which is something the government is personally taking care of it right now. Some of us are working also with the government on that. I'm expecting that you will have a lot more investment happening in coming to India.
Any guesses by when, sir? I mean, is it possible to guess rough time frame, or when do you expect this step up?
I would say that no corporate of this country is currently, other than a drawing board, signing purchase orders or taking land. Currently, there are 4 states of India who already confirmed that their land banks are sufficiently large enough, approach central government, and already company to company talk and government to government talk is already initiated. My expectation is signatures about they coming to India and the capacities that they will be keeping in India would get started by Q3 of the current year. And you take a 2-year period for it to be, thereafterwards a 2-year period, a lot of investment will happen in India. Of course, the government will want specifically certain areas which will be good for us. They'll want electronics, they'll want maybe APIs, they'll want larger capacities of bulk chemicals equivalent of that to come to India and advanced technology areas. Whereas when I look at the country from where they want to move out, partially or maybe de-risk, China has got manufacturing in from global companies in every area.
Sure,
not
got
that
it.
they are restricted to. So they are in every area. So I am expecting multiple sectors, including, because one doesn't believe in food processing itself. China is almost a #1 in the world today. Europe was the #1 earlier. So whatever you find in European or maybe American shelves on the supermarkets in the food sector, good part is coming from there. So that is what I am looking forward to. The process industry, the chemical industry, the specialty industries, commodity industries, when they do come to India to de-risk their supply chain for globally, India will be needing a lot more to be created. And I'm sure we are an attractive destination for it. And thankfully, we are at a point of time, at this point of time, part of that alliance, which is just getting formed politically, that Europe axis, along with America, Japan, Korea. We are the pygmies in that one in terms of, I would say that development, a per capita income of $1,800 to $2,000. All others you are talking about are upwards of $40,000-$50,000 on an average. So naturally, we have a lot more to offer to them in people and rest of it, and that's going to be certainly helping us. I'm 100% sure about that. But this is a moment for the next few years are going to be, not even say 18 months, I would say that. I would presume a decade to 2 decades. But we have to have a lot of political savvy to manage it. We cannot be. We have to be absolutely down to earth with a lot of humility and play the game. It's good the time for Indian industry.
Okay, and we'll hear from India's top government official in a few minutes from now. Mr. Unnikrishnan, one last quick question, if I can. How do you expect the rest of the year to shape up for Thermax? The long term seems good. What about the next 9 months? Earnings, operational metrics, top line. Any thoughts as you leave a ship that you've so steadfastly built?
Well, I'm leaving it with no debt to start with. It has got a treasury
Of
of
course.
1,200 crores, so there is nothing to worry on that count.
No, not at all.
The orders are available. Execution is extremely good. 30 teams are working currently, taking the cost out, which you would have seen. How did we improve the bottom line? Because we are containing the cost. So current year will certainly be, I can't give a prediction about it. With all this available and with what we are currently looking at, will be an average year for Thermax, not a very bad year for Thermax. It will be a profitable year, 101% will be profitable. And to what extent will we be? See, I'm more worried about order booking, not about execution. If customers are taking, cash flows are going to be improving in the market. I'm sure we are going to be having a decent year. And nobody in the world, I'm just quoting, unfortunately, I'm going to quote a Chinese gentleman only, Jack Ma, he told, for human beings in the current year, if you're alive at the end of current year, you should feel happy and lucky. Similarly, industry, I would say that if you're surviving, not bleeding a positive balance sheet with not having taken the money, any further borrowing done, they are the healthiest companies. And Thermax will be a leader in that one. We will not borrow a rupee more to run our organization. We live sufficient, or we will add on some more to our kitty at the end of the year. That is what it is. We'll be healthier at the end of the current year. It's not numbers.
Okay, Mr. Unnikrishnan, it's been a real pleasure talking to you all these years, all these quarters about Thermax. You've been very candid, and we look forward to see you in your new roles, advisory or otherwise, on the other side. Thanks so much for speaking to us through all these quarters, and all the best.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. It is you guys who always challenged me, made me talk what is at the bottom, and I learned how to run the organization from the market, not from within.
Thank you. Humility out there. Thank you so much, Mr. Unnikrishnan. All the best. Viewers, thanks for tuning into this earnings conversation.